folks, my name is Jürgen, aka Nerd and Proud of It, and Destiny has brought you to my channel today to compare the Sorcery TCG Alpha print run to the Magic the Gathering Alpha print run. And we're gonna speculate about the beta print run a bit, the Sorcery Beta print run, of course, because we know the Magic the Gathering beta print run. So first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have a look at the cards here. These are more or less for illustration, so we know what we are talking about. I have one Alpha Magic the Gathering rare, and that Alpha rare is this beautiful Lord of Atlantis. I love this card, I adore this card. I somehow got it back in the day because I always loved this card. It was part of my first deck, so I at a certain point in my Magic the Gathering history bought this Alpha rare and I kept it over the years, which is a good thing because they are very difficult to get nowadays. Looking at the MTG Alpha print run, we had about 26,000 starter decks, and remember, those were randomized, not as the precons in Sorcery. They each had 2 rares. Then we had about 70,000 70k boosters, which comes down to around 2,000 booster boxes. Brings us to a count of about 1,008 rares, and we had 116 different one of those, around 4,500 commons, uncommons, and about 16,000 commons. So definitely a very low print run. You could say the Sorcery print run was 10 times as high, but that's logical because there were no TCGs back in the day. Nobody knew what to expect, and people did not expect the game to explode. So, print run of Magic the Gathering Alpha is very, very low. If you look at the Sorcery TCG Alpha print run, the precons, as I said, are not randomized, but remember, they do have one booster pack, and maybe that counts for something. And we have about 29,000 booster boxes, but again, remember, there are 39 booster packs in each booster box. We know of the foil uniques we have about 250, so that's a different element as well, because we didn't have any foils in the Magic the Gathering Alpha. And the non-foil uniques, if they are printed equally, which I doubt, that means I think looking at the openings of the Alpha booster boxes, some uniques are more common. I'm okay. I'm allowed to say common because Sorcery doesn't use common. Some Sorcery uniques are, in my opinion, more common and easier to get than others. But for the sake of the argument, let's assume the Sorcery TCG uniques are printed equally. That brings us to about 29,000 boxes, and we see an average of about 9 uniques per box. That's 261,000 uniques. We have around 50 unique cards in the set. That's around 5,200 per unique card if they are all printed equally. And there isn't a lot of info out there by content creators or whatever how the set is built up. So I actually had to go on Eric's Curiosa.io to count the uniques because I didn't really know. I thought there were more, to be honest. I remember in my early calculations when the numbers were not known yet, I calculated around 90 to 100 uniques, which I know now was way too many. Let's have a look at that old video of mine. I haven't revisited it. It's very cool. It's on the top of the search list if you look at the calculation for how many Alpha booster boxes there are. And in the video I just did calculations with the info I had at the moment. And at that moment, not at this moment, because at this moment we have more info. And as you see, I estimated about 8,500 to 9,000 uniques. Individual uniques, which is based on about 90 to 100 unique cards in the set. So the 5,200 is about half of that, and as you calculate, we only have half of the uniques I calculated with in the old video. Then it isn't that far off. So I think around 5,000 per unique if they are printed equally is not an unrealistic number. Interesting video. Hey, it got some views, and yeah, I think it was one of the first videos to actually talk about the print run. Was pretty fun times. A lot of speculation back then, but looking back, I wasn't off that much. That's pretty cool. If we compare these numbers now, let's go through it. So if we look again at the Magic the Gathering Alpha, just step by step, we got 26,000 starters and 70,000 boosters. That means we got 52,000 rares in the starters, together with the 70,000 rares in each booster. That's 122,000 rares. We just bring it down to how many booster boxes that would be. Divided by 36, just for the easy calculation, that would be 3,400 alpha booster boxes. Then if we look at the Magic the Gathering beta, because we're gonna speculate a bit about the beta of Sorcery as well and the print run of the beta, just how the Magic the Gathering alpha and beta compare in terms of print run. Alright, we got 78,000 starters, and for the Magic the Gathering beta, the rares in the starters are 2 as well, so the same as alpha. We got 210,000 alpha booster packs, which brings us to a total of 366,000 rares, and if we divide that by 36, the whole beta Magic the Gathering print run, including starter decks, would mean that we are talking of about the equivalent of 10,166 boxes. If you now take a close look at it and divide the 10,166 beta booster boxes, yes, beta, by the 3,400 alpha booster boxes, we get a factor of 3. So there are 3 times as many beta booster boxes than alpha booster boxes, which is correct. So that's good. So looking at the Sorcery TCG Alpha again, we had 29,000 booster boxes. And for the sake of the argument, I'm going to ignore the pre-constructed decks, the boosters in the pre-constructed decks. If we got 3,600 pre-constructed decks, that's 3,600 boosters divided by 36, that's 100 boxes more. So let's calculate with 29,000 here. Means, don't forget, they had 39 boosters each. So that brings us to a total of 1,131,000 boosters of the alpha, plus minus a couple. And if we now take the factor of 3 and would say the approach of Sorcery will be the same approach as the Magic the Gathering approach, printing 3 times as much, then we would end up with 3,393,000 boosters. And now we have to divide it by 36, of course, because the beta booster boxes don't have 39 booster packs, but only 36. The 39 was a gift by the Sorcery guys because we had to wait so long for the Kickstarter to be fulfilled. They threw in an extra couple of boosters, which was very nice. But that would bring us to 94,250 boxes. And if we look at just multiplying the 29,000 boxes we know there are by 3, then we would end up with about 87,000 boxes. That would mean, let's say, if they take the Magic the Gathering approach, we will have about 90,000 beta booster boxes, which of course, in my opinion at least, would be dramatically high. Times have changed, so I think they can't use the Magic the Gathering model 1-to-1 or just reuse the exact numbers Magic the Gathering used, the exact factors Magic the Gathering used. My personal opinion, and I discussed this with a couple of Sorcery content creators, but with a couple of friends as well who have backed the Kickstarter too, I think they would be wise if they would not exceed double the alpha print run with the beta print run. That means we got 29,000 alpha booster boxes. I wouldn't print more than 58,000 beta booster boxes. Personal opinion again. That's everybody has their own opinion. This is mine. Preferably, I would say print between 40 and 50,000 beta booster boxes. Then you can accommodate people wanting the game, trying the game, players getting more cards, whatever, and is still a fair amount, but you don't overprint, and that is very, very important. Magic the Gathering was a very special case back in the day. 50 to 60,000 I still could live with. Everything above 60,000 would, in my opinion, be way too high. And if they would use the Magic the Gathering model and they would print around 100,000 boxes, I think the game would suffer really, really badly. The damage to the game might be irreversible if they would do that. All my opinion, all speculation. Folks, let me know what you think about the beta print run. Let me know what you think about the comparison of the alpha print run with the Magic the Gathering alpha print run with the Sorcery alpha print run. I would be very curious about what you think. And I hope the numbers weren't too boring, but I think it is quite interesting, because if you just look at it step by step, it's not that difficult if you have basic numbers, of course, which often is not the case. But we just recently got the confirmation of these Magic the Gathering alpha print run numbers and beta print run numbers by Peter Atkinson. Haven't talked to him for a very long time, by the way. I wonder if he still remembers me. Good guy, ex CEO of Wizards of the Coast, and also of Gen Con. I like him a lot. I have to see if I can talk to him again. Again, side story, but that's okay. So we have these numbers for Magic the Gathering, and we can roughly guess what the alpha print run numbers of Sorcery are, because of the size of the Kickstarter, which of course is public information, the amount they got. So I think 29k boxes is a common knowledge thing at the moment, everybody calculates with, and that would bring us to this. So I don't think it's wise to use the Magic the Gathering model in these times. Times have changed. Folks, I like making these videos. If you like me making these videos as well, hit the like button, consider to subscribe, maybe even consider to become a YouTube channel member or a Patreon, and support the channel that way. That would be very much appreciated, but only if you can, please. Nobody should give anything they need themselves to a stupid YouTuber like me. Stay healthy, stay frosty. I talk to you next time. Thanks a lot for listening. Bye bye.